G'day guys, today we have the much anticipated matchup between Milwaukee and Makita on the impact drivers. The test bench here is covered in crap, but we'll get that sorted in a minute. So we have got the top of the line, the best, most powerful Milwaukee impact driver up against the most powerful 18 volt Makita impact driver and the new 40 volt max impact driver. Can Milwaukee beat the two Makitas? First up, a bit of a disclaimer. This is not a shill video. Milwaukee did not give me this tool. Makita did not give me either of these tools. I haven't been paid by anybody. They haven't given me anything free. I have had no conversations with them. This is my opinions, so they may be a bit more real and a bit less full of bullshit than some of the other ones you may have seen on YouTube. Thanks. If you were to rank these tools by the numbers written on the back, then this is the order they would go. With the 40 volt Makita having the most impacts and the most speed on the highest setting. But will that translate to the most power? The 18 volt Makita is rated at 180 Newton meters. The Milwaukee, 226. That's a big jump. And the 40 volt, 220. So on Newton meter rating, Milwaukee has it. If you want to see the reviews of the 18 volt Makita or the 40 volt Makita, take a look up in the top corner up here. There'll be a little thing there for the reviews I have done on these two tools and down in the description. So we'll go through some specs first of the Milwaukee. This is the Milwaukee Gen 3 Fuel 2853 impact driver. In this part of the world it is known as the M18 FID2. M18 Fuel Impact Driver 2. It's so simple and perfect. Why do they use such crappy numbering systems in the States? It has 4 different settings. It has a light. It comes with a bit holder, a belt hook. It has a 1/4 inch one-handed chuck. Bits go in very nicely. They do wobble back and forward quite a lot. And the whole chuck goes back and forward quite a lot. It also came greasier than a rendered whale. It has a very firm variable speed trigger. It doesn't have many vents, but the ones either side on the back are massive. You get a lot of shit fall in there, cause you problems. It's got forward, reverse and lock in the middle here, obviously. When it comes to these 4 settings, we have settings 1 through 3. Standard impact settings, and then we have a what would be called a T mode on a Makita. That is a mode designed to not strip out screws when you're using self-tapping screws into thin sheet metal. It also is a 2-stage setting in that if you don't pull the trigger full on, see how that changed? If you pull it full on, it goes into the T mode, but if you only put it halfway, you can use it as a standard impact driver. So once you get used to using it, you could leave it in that mode almost all the time if you were using it for doing a lot of screws into thin metal and also wanted to use it for impacts for other things. So I've been using this for a couple of weeks now, and I hate the battery. These clip things that look, they jam and they get stuck and they're crap. And it has survived a drop since I've had it without the battery on it of about a meter in height, maybe just a bit more than a meter, and landed just on the corner there. Just damaged the corner, didn't affect its performance in any way. This impact driver hits hard. It smashes hard. There's some things I don't like about it. I'm not a great fan of the trigger yet, but it may be something you get used to. I'm so used to the Makita triggers. This one's a lot firmer, and I just find it slightly harder to control the fine movements. Also, just the angle my finger ends up on, it ends up right down on the bottom for some reason. I'm not sure exactly why the ergonomics of that are happening. So I end up sliding down and pushing on this bit of plastic at the bottom, and this finger here also gets caught on that quite a lot. So comfort wise, I prefer the Makita, but everybody's got different size hands and stuff, so who knows, you may be completely different, of course. But like I say, it hits hard, it hammers those screws in good and proper. even on the low settings, even on setting 1, you can drive screws in. I'll show you that shortly when we do some tests. When you're putting in, say, a batten screw, these Makitas would usually, both of them, in my experience, will stop when the batten screw gets down. It won't drive it into the timber once the head hits because it just doesn't have the oomph. Whereas this, even in level 1, will keep going, which is a good and a bad thing depending on how you like your impact driver. Before we go any further, I thought I'd show you this. I've been meaning to do a review on it for ages and I haven't, and I'll probably never get around to it properly, so I'll quickly just show you here. It's a retractable lanyard for a drill or impact driver, things like that. Holds up to about 3 kgs, and so you can be up on your roof, slot it back in, and it's always there ready to go. You can't drop your tool. So very handy if you're on scaffolding, that sort of thing, up on a roof, and you're worried about losing your drill. This way you also don't have to remember to hook it on your belt. Not that that's a huge effort, but you can just sort of let it go and it's there. It goes into the same place every time. Make sure you've got it up the right way though. If you have it hanging down the bottom, then it just drops to the ground. Learned that the hard way. So you can get these so they go on your tool belt, or if you've given your tool belt perhaps to, say, someone who lives in Pukekohe, and so you haven't got it at the moment, you can just hook it on a regular belt, or you can, there's other parts that go on it, you can clip it on a bucket, that sort of thing, if you so desire. So I haven't given it a huge test, but if you're interested in anything like that, have a look down in the description. I'll chuck a link down there, and let's get back to the impact drivers. Better clear some shit off the damn bench here. And hey Milwaukee, I know you think you're the best at everything and you want to be the best at everything, but you keep saying that your impact driver is the smallest in its class when 117 says on your website 116, but maybe it's this that's wrong. But 116. The Makita is 1mm shorter and always has been. That's just one of the very many layers of bullshit that Milwaukee. I'm not going to go into that in this video. Come on, let's get on with it. Right, so let's not beat around the bush. We're all here for one reason and one reason only. Just to see if this can smash this, or this will smash this. We'll put this one in as well just because it's the top 18 volt and is technically in the same class as this one, even though this one is really in the same class as this one. Now when it comes to batteries, there is no way for me to put a battery on this that is going to be equal with this, and there's also going to be no way I can put a battery on here that is going to keep everybody happy. You're all going to have different opinions about this, and you're going to argue about it down in the comments below. Feel free to start that now. The reason I'm using the battery I am using is this, and this is all I'm going to say about it. These two are both 18 volt 6 amp hour batteries that use 18 650 cells. Okay, that's why I got that one, so that this one is at least equal with this one. They can't be equal with this one. They all, of course, have freshly charged batteries, and they are all on their highest setting, 434. And we are screwing into 225 millimeters of pine, pre-primed for your convenience. So, will this beat this? This has the numbers in the impacts and the speed, but this has it in the sheer brute Newton meter force. We're gonna just jump straight into it. 200 millimeter batten screws, no pissing about. I'll go through one by one and we'll see who wins. Simple as that. .150 Mil Batten Screws, both 18 volt impacts. 3, 2, 1. What a kicking. I'll do that again with them reversed, just in case you think there's any hand bias. 1. Can't remember how much was sticking out of the last one, but I think that's pretty much identical. If you can hear any background noise, sorry, but the old fan heater down here in the garage shut itself the other day, so we've gone high class now. A Dyson in the workshop. Who would have thought? Sadly, I think this one's out of the running. 40 volt, 18 volt, 150mm screws. Well, do I need to do any more tests? I think that sort of says it all, doesn't it, guys? The red machine certainly smashed it. Makita 18 volt, first speed. Nothing happening. Makita 40 volt, first speed. Nothing happening. The red one, first speed. Slowly going in. It actually worked better when I wasn't videoing it, damn it. Anyway, so on the lower speeds you can still drive quite a lot of torque with this thing. Some things I've noticed with the red one. You may not have seen it in the video, but every time I used the Milwaukee there was so much more shit vibrating around and bouncing and falling off the damn workbench. There's shit all over the floor now. It's way more aggressive in the vibrations than the Makitas. The Makitas feel smoother, they don't vibrate your hand so much, that sort of thing, and they don't vibrate the shit out of everything you're using as much. So we had a clear winner in the grunt category, the sheer brute force. But there's a lot more to an impact driver than that. If you want to smash in large screws, landscape screws, big batten screws, tech screws, all that sort of stuff all day, then hey, this is going to do it quicker than anything else. This is the beast. This is the bashiest impact around. If you want a bit more finesse, if you want to use your tool for a few more other things, if you want a whole lot of settings, this has 4 settings. The 18 volt Makita has 8 and the new 40 volt has 10, so there's a lot more things you can do with it rather than just bash the living shit out of something. So finesse, Makita, brute strength, Milwaukee. Also, if the comments in my videos are anything to go by, this is going to last a lot longer than this. Milwaukee not having a good name for not lasting. I'm sure a lot of you will argue that down in the comments. Feel free, go for it, fair enough. I haven't used enough Milwaukee stuff to make that call, but I get a hell of a lot of comments, particularly about impact wrenches, impact drivers, the rivet tool I did recently a review on, a lot of people saying that that's a piece of shit. So, hey, longevity wise, Milwaukee might not be up to it compared to a Makita. The Makita I find is a little nicer to use than the Milwaukee. This is just bang, go for it. Having said that, if I'm going to be driving landscape screws and stuff like that, I'm going to grab that first because it is a lot quicker. But overall, what impact driver would I pick? Still that one. Thanks for watching, guys. Heaps more reviews coming up. We really should put this up against a 36 volt impact driver, seeing as it's a 36 volt. I know it says 40, but you know, we all know that's 36 by now, right? Everyone knows. So we need to put this up against we need to put this up against a 36 volt impact driver. And whenever I type 36 volt impact driver into the old Googlebot, there's only one tool that comes up. So I guess we'll have to test it against that. That'll be on an upcoming one very soon. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one. And there's still plenty more impact driver videos to come. And 40 volt max. Cheers, guys. Oh, I can turn the heater back on now, eh? Stop filming.